Okay, this video is going to be the basics about the Foundry, and you've obviously expressed some interest in the Foundry if you're watching this. So the point of the next couple of minutes is going to be to explain what the Foundry is and how it might relate to you, and then what comes next after this process. So basically the question we're answering is your company a fit for the Foundry? It's sort of an interesting question because we're not necessarily interested in your company, we're more interested in you as an entrepreneur. The point of the Foundry is to create and educate entrepreneurs. We don't necessarily concentrate on the success of your company. That's something that you're going to do as an entrepreneur. What we do instead is we use the company as a platform to educate you. So by actually going through the process of trying to grow your company, you're going to educate yourself whether you like it or not by using the tools that the Foundry provides. So we're not as concerned about what the focus of your company is, we're concerned about you and some of the attributes of you, the entrepreneur. So specifically, what are those attributes? The first and most important is that you're committed to this idea, that you're serious about this, and this is a company you actually want to grow. If you don't, this certainly isn't going to be appropriate for you. If this is something you're kind of doing for fun or that you're not serious about, then consider potentially getting resources elsewhere. So we definitely want people who are committed to their ideas. Also, equally important is you have to show a willingness to learn. If you're not a coachable person or you don't desire to soak up information from other people in order to help your company and you succeed, then again, this won't necessarily be the appropriate environment because a lot of what we do is based on peers teaching each other. The third one, which is also important, is we're going to ask that you participate in the Foundry system. And I'll explain what that is in a second, but it's really not that difficult. It doesn't take too many hours of work weekly to do so. But we really need you to go through the mechanizations, the small mechanizations that we put in place. It's part and parcel with teaching yourself methodically how to grow your company and more about being an entrepreneur. So let's talk about that really quickly, about what the Foundry requirements are. I've listed, there are really only 4 big ones here. The first one is called a MOCR, and essentially those are key objectives and plans for your company. What those do is they force you to write down and enunciate your quarterly goals over a 3-month period, and it's basically a 2-page summary of what you're trying to accomplish and what you'd like to get out of the 3-month period coming forward. So a MOCR is really important because it essentially establishes what are you trying to do, what's your goal for this period. Also, we ask that you do something called a management report. Management reports are written weekly. They take under an hour to write, and they're a weekly planning document that includes business metrics. This essentially allows you to track how you are progressing toward your MOCR goals, and also allows everyone else in the group and yourself to see what you're really accomplishing each week as opposed to what you'd set out to accomplish. So that's an important document that we will use and that we ask everyone to fill out on a weekly basis. Also, we have Monday meetings. They're a 1-hour meeting that you sit down with other CEOs or founders and you go through the process of networking and exchanging problems, essentially, so that the other peers of yours will help you solve problems, and you'll use that meeting as a platform to explain your problems to other people. And then the third thing is a project review. This is really just a simulated board meeting. Once a month you'll come in for an hour and present, what kind of progress are you making, what are your goals for the next couple of months, how did you do on some of the goals that you stated in the months prior, and then you'll get advice and strategy discussions. You can invite anyone you want to this meeting, but the purpose is to methodically have a review of your business. So equally important, now that we know what the Foundry is, we also want to know what the Foundry is not. If you're looking for students to do a bunch of free work from you, probably not the place. You have to be here, you have to participate, you have to be involved. If you're looking to produce a business plan, also not the place. That should be done already. You should already have a good idea of what your business is and how it's going to work. Will you refine that? Absolutely, and we make changes to it, of course, but you really don't want to come in to the Foundry with no idea about your business. It should be a pretty well-baked idea. Also, it's not a clubhouse. It isn't a social gathering place. It's not something where people just come in and sort of pal around. The folks that are coming in to participate here are serious about growing their companies, and that's what they do when they're here. Not to say it isn't fun or it isn't social, but that's not the point of what it is. So I also don't want you to think that the only way you can participate is if you're a founder or a CEO of a company. If you don't have a company, that's fine as well. You can participate in two other ways. One is what we call a friend, and the other is a mentor. A friend meaning if you sign up as a friend, you're essentially saying, hey, I'm a resource that's available to these companies. I'd like to participate so I can learn the system and learn some more about growing small companies, in which case the companies can get to know you and enlist your help. So that's a pretty open-ended definition, but you're more than welcome to put your name in, so to speak, as a potential resource. And then the other is a mentor. If you feel like you found the Foundry because you're interested in mentoring companies, that's fine too. We have a system for mentors. Go through the registration process, list yourself as a mentor, and then we'll contact you and explain sort of how the mentor process works. So importantly, the next thing to do is to click on the link in this email and go through the application process. What part of that application process is we're going to ask you to produce a MOCR. We're going to have a MOCR template and some basic instructions on how to do that. Sort of a gating item. If you really can't produce this document, this won't be an appropriate program for you. And also, if you can't produce this document, maybe it's telling you that you haven't thought through your business as well as you should have. So my name is Matt Hoffman, and I am the Managing Director of the Foundry. So you will see my name scattered around the website, and you'll see me in some of the instructional videos. So click on this link, apply, and produce them over.